In this lesson, we're going to look at how to calculate the average for each unit. In the previous lesson, we looked at how to use the AutoSum formula to calculate the monthly sales for each of the items. In this lesson, we're going to focus on calculating the average for each item. So let's get started. In order to do that, for each item, we click at the cell where we want the average number to be imputed. For example, for books, we will click on cell D13. So now that we've selected the cell, the next thing to do is to type in the equal sign, average, and then select the sales for the 4 months and then enter. If you noticed what I did here, in the previous ones, when I enter the equal sign and then the formula for sum, I manually opened parentheses. In this case, however, I double clicked the formula once it appears. Let me show you what I mean. Equal sign, average. This is the calculation for toys, average. You can see that here Excel has pre-populated the screen with what it thinks we are looking for, the formula it thinks, or the functions it thinks we are looking for. So I'm going to double click on average, and that not only brings up the average function, it also opens the parentheses. So all I have to do now for toys is to select the cells that I want to include, which is toys month 1 to 4. Now I'll click enter to finish the calculation. There you go. So why don't you give it a try and do the same for the other items. Okay, welcome back. Now we have filled in the average monthly sales for each of the items. It's something I need you to take a note of here. If I click on this cell, for example, by clicking on one of these cells, you can take a look at the formula bar to see the formulas or the functions behind the calculation. Right now, it says equals sign, average, open parentheses, cell C4 to F4, close parentheses. If I do that for these other cells, you notice the same thing. So behind each of these numbers, the formula for calculating the average, or the function for calculating the average, is displayed in the formula bar. Moving forward, let's assume we have made a monumental mistake. There was a particular item that we sell at the Treasure Notes bookstore that we did not add. Now we need to add that. How do we do that? The way to add rows or columns is basically the same thing. There are 2 ways to do it. The first is the easier way. If you click on, let's say, t-shirts, and you right click beside it, you see the insert button here. If you click on it, it inserts above the cell that you clicked. Let's undo that again. Another way to do it is to go to the Home tab and move to your right hand side, find Insert, and then click what you want to insert. You can either insert sheet rows, because that's select, or sheet column, because the rows are selected right now, so it is graying out sheet columns and giving me the choice to either insert cells or insert sheet rows. So let's insert sheet rows. The same result happens. So we sell a lot of mugs, so we are going to add mugs as a separate line here, and we usually sell them for $9. You can see that as I inputted $9, it took the currency format that we did earlier. That is because this row that we inserted is between the area that was covered with the currency formatting. So how about we input any data here to reflect how many items we sold for the month. We sell a lot of mugs. These are really doing very well. Let's say 341 for month 1, 305 for month 2, 311 for month 3, and 321 for month 4. If you are paying attention, you would have noticed that the monthly values have also changed. The totals for each of the months has also changed. All right, so now the only thing that has not changed here is the formulas, because we have to manually use the autofill to fill out the units sold here. So let's do that. There you go. So now we have the total units sold for monks for the 4 months at 1,278. Again, to calculate the subtotal, if you remember this correctly, we did the equal sign, and then we multiply the cells that we are interested in. So which is cell B6 multiplied by G6. Enter. There we have our number. And also, if you notice also, the total number also changed here. Okay, one thing that we should have done earlier, but we can do it now anyways, the total units sold for all the products, as well as the total units sold looking at the month, we can impute that here. So in order to do that, we can either use this number, equal sign, sum, double click, and then we can either select these numbers or select these numbers. It will be the same. So let's do that. Enter. There you go. Okay. If you don't believe me, let's undo that and then use this number. Equal sign, sum, double click to open the parentheses, and then select this number and enter. There you go, 4,871. Okay, now we know how to insert rows. How about inserting columns? So it is basically the same thing. We're going to select the first row, and then we're going to right click and click insert. See what happens here? We have a column inserted before the items. So how about if we want to insert 2 rows at the same time? What we have to do is to select 2 columns at the same time. Now let's use the other method. Go to the home tab and find insert button here and select insert columns. Now we have 2 columns inserted. Let me give you a chance to play with this a little bit and join me on the other side.